All right, coming up after the break, our Jason Hutton brings us a preview of tonight's game of the week. And Jason, looks like it's
nice out here, really nice. We got Thursday night lights, our game of the week, Belding and Spring Lake at Grabinski Field on the Bayou. We'll break it down with Brett Bakita coming up next in sports.
Welcome back, and high school football is back for week 2, and once again many teams are playing on Thursday. Safe to say they have much better weather tonight than last week.
Oh my, sure looks like it. Yeah, our game of the week is in Spring Lake tonight on the Blitz. Bakita and Book joining us live from the home of the Lakers as they're getting ready to host Belding. On that note, gentlemen, it looks like the tan is getting on real quick right now.
Well, we're getting some pretty direct sunlight here at Grabinski Field on the shores of the Grand River. And you guys talk about the weather. It was a lot like this at this time last week too, and then a whole bunch of different stuff came. So it doesn't sound like we're in for any kind of bad weather tonight. So we certainly hope that happens. But we think we got a great football game here. OK Silver against OK Blue. Belding, of course, conference champs last year. Spring Lake in year 2. Cody Mallory. This should be a good football game.
Should be a good football game, and also one of the best venues. I mean, I'd love to just bring my boat right up, right, and just park right here, sort of like you see at the University of Washington, right on the Grand River. And last time I was at Grabinski Field, now Grabinski Stadium, was 20-plus years ago, called a regional final game between Byron Center and Spring Lake. And Lakers fans remember that year because they went all the way to the Pontiac Silverdome, lost in the state championship game. But Jerry Rabideau, who's still, I guess, teaching at the high school now, was the coach then, and a lot of memories. And this one has an interesting coaching dynamic, too. It's Northern Michigan, right? Because it's Monty Price and Belding, who was at Reed City before Belding, taking on Cody Mallory, now just in his second season coming down from Cadillac.
Yeah, of course, they knew each other. They used to scrimmage, and they made this happen week 2. Scheduling is always difficult. It should be a fun game. We'll be here all night.
All right. Haley, thanks. And what a perfect evening for some football, right? Week 2 of high school football games are kicking off tonight.
Jason Hutton is standing by in Spring Lake. Hey, Jason.
We got Wing T against Wishbone. Should be a great game tonight. Belding and Spring Lake. We're going to talk with Brett Bakita about it coming up after the break.
The second week of high school football season begins tonight.
And there are games scheduled for tomorrow as well, but the majority happening once again on a Thursday. Thursday night Blitz happening, and the game of the week is in Springfield.
Yeah, Bakita and Book are there and ready to look ahead to some of the big games tonight, guys.
Well, we're going to start with our game of the week. Black Knights of Belding, Lakers of Spring Lake. 2 coaches that know each other very well. 2 coaches that want to run the football. Belding in the wing T, Spring Lake in the flex bone triple option. I feel like the line of scrimmage is going to be pretty important tonight.
Also quarterback play, and you have 2 returning quarterbacks. Reed Grimmer, a junior, but started last year as a sophomore and running this triple option offense. You know, he's like a point guard, ball handler, and the same thing goes on the other side for Anthony Sabinski, now back as a senior. And with run-oriented offenses, you know how important those play fakes are, making sure that you get the ball to the right running backs, and it's not one of those where you pull out last minute, also the ball's in the turf. And you know, Belding took advantage last week. They had 3 turnovers go their way. They won the turnover battle with Ionia 3-0, and if they don't win that, Jay, they probably don't win that football.
Yeah, and they want to run the ball better tonight. They didn't run it like up to their standards last week in the win over Ionia, but the defense really bailed them out. It was a cold and rainy November night almost 10 years ago. The last time Belding and Spring Lake met. Neil McCulley ran for 239 yards, and a few close calls went the way of the orange and black in a 21-20 Division IV playoff win. Almost 10 years later, they met again tonight, once again at Grabinski Field. Much warmer and much drier than that night. We're on the shores of the Flat River. First possession for the Lakers after Belding had punted. Reed Grimmer with time finds Jackson Lemon, and the senior goes all the way across the field to reach the end zone. 42 yards on the score. It was 7-zip early on. Belding would answer on its next drive. Anthony Sabinski with some good fakes, and the 3-year varsity starter takes it in from 6 yards out. Successful 2-pointer made it 8-7. Belding tied at 14 at the half. Spring Lake got the ball to start the third, went right down the field. Ren Depphouse diving in from 4 yards out. 21-14 Lakers. Once again, Belding comes back. Sabinski on the flake, threads the needle to Jack Ward for the score. 2-point conversion failed. Black Knights down a point. Spring Lake ran the ball at will tonight. Fullback Sam Schaefer had a pair of scores. This one in the fourth quarter extends the lead. Spring Lake holds on to win it, beating Belding tonight. 34-28 the final. Good football game. Second straight week the Lakers played a 34-28 game. Second straight week they come out on top. Also, 370 yards on the ground tonight. That's the same number they ran for in last week's win at Montague. Senior Ren Dephouse led the way with 139 yards on just 9 carries. Sam Schaefer had a 124. Anthony Sabinski did account for all 4 Belding touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 2 through the air. Brett Bakita had the call this game on 96.1 The Game. Excellent football game. Spring Lake, I think, showed us a lot, especially triple option, ability to run the ball, control the line of scrimmage.
I love this offense. And again, Cody Mallory, second year with this program. I know you like second-year coaches coming down from Cadillac. And just really all night, you felt like they were downhill and could get the edge. They had some big plays, as you know, Jay, that were called back because of wide receivers trying to block downfield on the edge, and maybe they got a piece of the jersey or whatever. But I just look at, the numbers you just threw out. Ren Dephouse, outstanding. Bryce Collins. I mean, the list goes on and on. And then you have, they keep you honest back, if you will. I love that in the wing tee or in this offense with the wing bone or triple option, and that's Sam Schaefer, who had a big night. Then they used him as linebacker on defense. I just thought he played a whale of a game, but I really was impressed. And give the Spring Lake offensive line, they've got some beef there, some credit too.
Yeah, they blocked really well. And talking with head coach Cody Mallory after the game, he liked the way not just his offensive line block, but his receivers, his running backs. It was a team effort on offense. They can run the football. We start out talking with Sam Schaefer about the holes he saw tonight from his fullback spot.
The boys did great up front tonight. I had wide open holes all night long.
What does it do for you guys to go 2-0 after a 3-win season last year to come out here and start 2-0?
Feels great. We put a ton of work in the off season and couldn't ask for a better start, and we just got to keep it going.
It just feels great because we knew that team had more in us, and now that we can show that those last players on the last team that we deserve this team, and now we're 2-0 and we love it.
We had to control the ball on offense and take the shots when we could. I was really happy with how our offense responded every time that they scored. Also came out and made some good adjustments at halftime to try to stifle some of the stuff they were doing on the edge. And I was just happy with how our guys responded and continued to play 4 quarters.
So Belding's 1-1. They've stepped up their competition here in the non-conference. I still like them in the OK Silver. We'll kind of see how that plays out as it goes on. But I don't think there's a reason. Spring Lake, confidence, momentum, they can't make a run here at the OK Blue.
Let me start with Belding. I agree, defending OK Silver champs. I mean, they've got some beef they can throw at you in the backfield. Hunter Conrad, obviously Jack Ward. It was good to see healthy playing offense tonight. And Anthony Sabinski, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. So look out. Monty Price can build off of this, even though it was a loss. But you look at it offensively for Spring Lake, the second week in a row, they put 370 rushing yards up. An identical score, right? 34-28 like they did over Montague in the win here over Belding. But I just think there's so much more they can do with the passing game. You and I talked about this, Reed Grimmer, and they've got some weapons they didn't even have to use. In Burt, you saw Jackson Lemon in one of the highlights. He had an early touchdown catch. But I think if teams come after them and try to take away the run and sneak up the secondary, they can throw over the top. Those guys will be good on one-on-ones.
Yeah, Jackson Lemon and Colin Burt both have nice size and athleticism on the outside. And I agree with you. I think that they can, if they ever have to, throw the football. But so far, 2 games in, they haven't had to.